Hello, I'm Sharon Thorne, the Managing Partner Global at Deloitte UK, and we're here today to talk about inward investment into the UK. And we're going to be focusing on UK Trade and Investment's 2014 and 15 report, which confirmed the UK as the #1 destination in Europe for foreign direct investment. And I'm delighted that we have with us Michael Boyd, who's the Managing Director Investment at UK TI. So Michael, despite uncertainties across world markets, the UK is continuing to attract record levels of investment. And we surpassed, I think, the £1 trillion mark in 2014. So what are the key factors that are driving that investment into the UK?
I think the key factor, Sharon, is that on a competitive basis, we're a very attractive location. We have been, I think really since records began, but I'm not complacent about it, the leading location in Europe for FDI. And last year attracted nearly 2,000 projects, of which we at UKTI were involved with about 80% of them. The reasons for investing in the UK are primarily driven by our attractiveness on a competitive basis. So one gets headlines like our access to skills, having 4 of the top 10 universities in the world, having a strong apprenticeship scheme, having full employment. Access to skills is extremely important. Taxation is extremely important. When I started this role in 2011, the corporate tax rate was 28%. It's now heading towards 18%. So government policy in terms of making the UK attractive plays a very strong part in our competitiveness. So it's also about our transparency, consistency, which is obviously what investors want to see when they're modelling where to base, say, their European headquarters.
Okay, so a number of key reasons why the UK is very attractive. Yeah. And just in terms of who those investors are, the US and Europe remain the largest investors, I think, into the UK, with India in 3rd position. So I suppose it's just thinking, are there strategies in place, and if so, what are they, to broaden that international investor base, and specifically China and the Middle East, say?
We have 3 goals as an organisation. The first is to increase that £1 trillion of stock of inward investment by 2020 to £1.5 trillion. The second is to retain our leadership position as FDI location from overseas. And the third is to become the #1 location for emerging countries, and particularly when we're talking about emerging countries, we're talking about the high growth countries. So there are 23 countries in that basket. So yes, we do have strategies. When I took over this role, we were in 32 countries with investment offices. Now clearly, if you're focusing on emerging high growth countries, you have to widen that base. Yeah. So we thought about, well, how can we do that at pace? And actually we used firms such as Deloitte to expand our network and said, look, you've got networks in these countries. And we moved into another 19 countries on top of that. So Central and Eastern Europe, Latin America, and the Gulf were the primary areas, and Russia. And we did that through using outsourced contracts to attract investment leads, and then to incentivize our partners to bring in those leads, and then we put them into our pipeline and worked on those leads together with our partners, and we've had some very successful outcomes.